What's going on, everybody? Nick Parrish with eXp Realty. Today we're going to be talking about my start in investing with Grant Cardone and Cardone Capital, the finances I had to get there, and basically how it came to be. So in 2017, I was working at Arby's making $11.25 an hour. At that point in my life, I had owned my house for 2 years. I was stuck in the rat race, just making enough to pay the bills. So when a friend came over and said, hey, there's a Facebook ad, $30 an hour doing commercial roofing, I figured, what the heck, I'll apply. I didn't expect them to hire me. I had no experience with power tools. Basically was a computer nerd back then. So with that interview, they'd give me a shot. So I went from making $11.25 from January to August at Arby's that year. And then from September to December/January, I'd make 40 plus an hour doing commercial roofing. So it looks something like this. So I made $16,800 in the first 8 to 9 months that year. And then the following 4 months, I'd go on to make $21,800. So I basically 4 times my money in that timeline. So with that extra income that I was making, the lifestyle creep wasn't able to keep up. So I ended up with $20,000 in the bank at that point, which was a lot of money to me. I'd never seen anybody with that much money or hear people talk about that much money. Honestly, I was so illiterate in money back then. I thought $30,000 a year, I'd be set. So from there, we'd get laid off for the month of February. And during that time, I did the math on the budget and everything. And I realized, man, I'm still going to run out of money pretty quickly. So because I'm a genius with $20,000 in the bank, I start Googling how to turn $5,000 into $1 million. Because again, if I got 20, if I could do it with 5, then, you know, I can end up with 5 million or 4 million. So I stumbled on a video by Grant Cardone, literally titled How to Turn 5K into 1 Million. A few minutes into the video, I realized, man, this guy is speaking my language. He's saying a lot of the stuff I've thought over the years. Even though most people around me think real estate's just termites, tenants, and toilets. Which, yeah, it's a job, it's an investment, it takes work, big deal. So from there, he had a deal going on. You invest $5,000 minimum into a non-accredited fund, which non-accredited is where you're making less than $250,000 a year, or your net worth is less than $1 million, which most people around me, that's what they are. I didn't even know there was a difference between accredited and non-accredited, but because of this, most people aren't allowed to invest in 300 unit properties or bigger properties. So, I mean, the game is kind of rigged against the little guy. So with that being said, he was giving the little guy a chance to invest in these properties. And also he had a deal going on with it that if you invested the $5,000 into the fund, he would give you all the sales trainings and all his marketing trainings for free. And I felt like that was a deal I couldn't pass up. He was selling these trainings for $30,000 plus. He still is today. So the fact that I got all these while investing money is kind of a, crazy deal. I'm happy I did it. Haven't taken full advantage of a lot of these like I should, but with that being said, as time goes on, that's something I'm doing. But getting back to the investments, so not only would I invest the $5,000, I'd actually invest $15,000 into Fund 5. And then as time went on, Fund 6, he said it was going to be his last one, so I invested the rest of the $5,000 that I had into that, as you can see on the screen here. Now this says 2019 because he had to hold that money until the fund was full, until he could invest it. So there's a few months there where that money was invested and I didn't make anything. Scary time. I invested in a guy I never met, some guy that I saw on YouTube. I just knew that I couldn't hold on to that money. The universe would find a way to take it. But from there, I bought a GrowthCon ticket, which was a networking event that he put on every year. I bought that ticket for me and my wife. The point was, hey, let me make sure that my money is going to the right place. That would be another video for the 5 GrowthCons I'd go on to go to. But this GrowthCon was in 2020. Actually, it was in March of 2020. So literally a few days after that event, COVID would happen. I'd go on and switch jobs 2 times from there. So 2021 was a slow year for me. I didn't invest anything. And then 2022, I'd be back and invest another $5,000. At this time, he had a REIT So this fund was a little different. Instead of getting paid monthly, I was getting paid quarterly, which is kind of a bummer, but bills come every month. But at the same time, this was still a vehicle for me to invest in bigger investments. And also, these were investments that I didn't have to put any work into. I literally invested the money. I get paid every month. I don't have to call anybody. I don't have to worry about maintenance, anything like that. It was truly passive income to me. And my wife had different goals, wanted to have kids, things like that. So again, this made more sense. I didn't want to have another job, so I'll take the passive income. Then in 2023, I invested another $5,000 into the same fund. So if you're doing the math here, we're up to $30,000 now. This puts us at $30,000 total invested so far. And then in 2023, 2024, I sold my first home. And with that money, I went ahead and doubled my investment that I had. So another $30,000 in here. Now I'm up to $60,000 total invested. And today, that's where I'm at. I did not invest any money this year. I took a chance on a job last year. So again, a little behind. But with that being said, let's talk about the distribution so far. So in 2019, I'd only get 2 checks, which comes out to $140.63. And then in 2020, I'd have a full year of payments. I'd make a total of $863.75 that year. Which at this point, 2020, I only had $20,000 invested. 2021, again, I didn't invest anything new. Another $825 that year in total. In 2022, I would have added another $5,000 investment. So now this year I made $1,019. 2023. Late in the year, I made another $5,000 investment, so only went up a little bit, $1,149 that year. 2024, this is where that extra $30,000 would start kicking in. So this year, I made $1,883. And now so far in 2025, as of yesterday, I'm up to $2,699 on the year. So $2,700 on the year. Not too bad for money I didn't have to work for. So overall, this puts my investments at $8,581.66 as a return so far. Now, if I do the math on that, the numbers are a little skewed. 8,581 divided by 60,000. Comes out to only 14%. However, over 8 years, that's terrible, and it's not actually true. So this number right here is only, a year and a half old investment, whereas these are investments for, 7, 8 years now. So for my first investment so far, I've made 28%, 29% rounded up, and he promised a 15% return overall. This is the return they were at the last time they updated this, so 18%. So you can see now I'm already at 28%. Not too bad. Overall, am I happy with this investment? Absolutely. I'm only making about 4% a year, but at the same time, it's not in the stock market where I have to worry about it going up and down, or where I'm trying to guess or watch it every day. I literally can just do my everyday day job and still make money every month or every quarter. Ideally, this number is going to continue to rise, and I'll be able to continue to put money in there. So in case you were wondering what it's like to invest with Cardone Capital, this is it. And honestly, for accredited investors, they're making a lot more money on this. He's already refinanced a lot of his first, I think, 4 funds. So a lot of those people got their money back, and they're still getting the money every month. And I'm sure most of them rolled that money back into his other funds just to keep the passive income growing. Until next time, thanks you guys for watching.
Look at his fullness burning light. Look at his fullness burning light. Look at his fullness.